My daughter is ridiculing and mocking her brother, who recently faced a motorcycle accident resulting in the loss of part of his foot and hand. This made him unable to participate in Division I basketball competitions in college. After hearing her repeatedly mock her brother during a phone conversation with her friends, I'm seriously considering not paying for his future college education, and at this point I really don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So I'm a widow from a previous marriage, and so is my wife. She has a son who is 19 years old from the previous marriage, and I also have a daughter. We dated for about 5 years before getting married 3 years ago, and our children have known each other since the beginning. No big fights or any awkwardness other than meeting someone otherwise as a father and guardian. My son was a tremendous basketball athlete, and I used to play in college at a school I'm sure none of you have heard of. Regardless of, I know the ins and outs of basketball, and when he asked me to coach him, I was more than happy. I found out that he was good. Very good. He was so good he could play in the first division. My wife is a controller and I am a pharmacist, and together we lead a very comfortable life, but we're not rich. So when my son was getting offers for basketball scholarship, I realized that we could pay for my daughter's college in full, and neither of them would have any student loan debt when they graduated, and this was a plan that I had shared with my daughter that I think it was a total mistake to start with. These plans changed when my son tried to ride someone else's motorcycle, all with their permission but without any training, and as a result he ended up getting seriously injured in the accident that followed. He lost part of his hand and his foot didn't work. It was life-threatening, but basketball is totally gone. This happened last year, and my son is in a deep depression that we are desperately trying to get him out of, but he feels like his entire identity has been ripped away in the blink of an eye. He has been in counseling and prescribed medication, but that hasn't helped us much recently. He confided in me that the pills he takes have unfortunate side effects where he basically feels virtually no interest in anything, and because of that he wants to stop them. Told him the important thing is that he is with us, but he can talk about it with his doctor at his next appointment. Fast forward 2 weeks, and I am upstairs looking for something in my room. Then I hear my daughter talking to her friends in her phone about college. The conversation turned to her brother, and she said the following: "I can't wait to leave. I'm tired of hearing my brother cry every day." She also said that his hand is disgusting and that she knew that the spirits in the house they had changed since he got hurt. And honestly, I didn't think she felt that way. I was going to talk to her later about it, but then I heard her say the following: "I heard him say he can't get up anymore," and she said this while laughing, and when I heard this I was absolutely furious. I broke into her room. I took her phone, the laptop. I took her car keys and the TV from her room. I told her that she should be ashamed of how she talked about her brother, and that he might do something permanent if he heard you talking about him like that. When my wife got home, we talk about what happened, and although she is proud of the way I stood up for my son, she thinks it's too far to also not pay for college, since we could easily do it too. So honestly, I would be an idiot if I didn't pay for college. My daughter's college. I'm just so excited about this situation, and I honestly don't know what to do. First, the way your daughter was talking about her brother is horrible. Her brother just lost part of his hand and foot. Seriously, this is not something you want to joke about. This literally just happened, and poor Goo taking medication to try and feel better, as well as seeing a therapist. Literally his entire future was taken from him. The fact that she thought this funny and that she can make fun of it in some way is so toxic and incredibly upsetting. I'm sure she wouldn't feel this way if this happened to her now. With all this in mind and all the horrible things she said, I think it would be an overreaction to deny her any payment for college. Here's what you can still punish her for: take away her phone, take away her car, take away everything you can, but in my opinion, take away that college education is not okay. I personally think it is taking things a little too far, and I just don't think that will serve anyone well in the long run. So yes, I don't think you should follow that plan. I think she definitely needs to learn respect, but I don't think it should come at the expense of her education. Today, I made a mistake by not cultivating my friendship with my best friend from high school, and now she's incredibly upset, and I'm worried that I've ruined a good friendship in my life. Here's what happened. So as the title states, I absolutely hate myself for ruining the best friendship I've ever had. I met my best friend, let's call her Sarah, that's not her real name, when I changed schools in the middle of high school. We instantly hit it off and became extremely close. I would often go to her house and vice versa. I had a lot of difficulty going to school, but she was always my motivation to wake up and pack my things. I would also like to add that I was in the worst mental decline During that time, she helped me immensely during the meltdowns during my classes. She always looked after me and was the best friend a person could ask for. She was also going through some big things, and I tried to be there as much as I could. She was the type of person who was honestly so mature in dealing with things, and honestly, I love her so much, and I still see that Sarah was the type of person who didn't have many friends, but knew pretty much everyone well. She opened up to me about things she hadn't even told her longtime friends of 16 years, and I was honestly happy that she felt comfortable enough to share that with me. My favorite memory of my school is honestly walking her to the bus to drop her off and give her a hug and say goodbye. Now this is where I went wrong. After my senior year of high school, gradually my communication side started to take a back seat. She asked about it, and honestly time came up with a lame excuse of being busy with college prep. Slowing my contact side was barely there, but the thing is, even though I rarely talked to her in my mind, she was my best friend, and I spoke fondly about her to everyone I knew. I told people what a great person she is and would honestly talk about her to everyone. She called me out multiple times for not calling and texting, or even if we were texting it wouldn't go beyond me just saying hello. For months, we talked like never before, and any plans that were made to meet up I would cancel due to some issue or other. I had entered university in a different state, and before leaving I met with her. She expressed to me how she would never forgive me for causing her this pain, and for her part she would remain a friend to me, but I was no longer hers. I told her I would keep in touch with her when I left, but she told me straight up that if I couldn't do that while living in the same city, she highly doubts that will happen when I move out of state, and honestly I miss everything about the girl. I want to rekindle this friendship and I want one last chance, but I don't think that would happen. I don't want to cause her too much pain. I regret this every day, and everywhere I go I remember her in different people or activities. There is no a single day goes by that I don't think about her constantly. I know that I acted horribly and was untrustworthy, and that my actions were understandably pretty bad. I just don't know how to do this at this point, and I really don't know what to do. Honestly, I really understand what you mean from here. I have experienced this on both sides of the situation. I have been the friend trying to get in touch with someone else, and I have also been the friend that someone else has tried to get in touch with. Contact in both situations really suck. Here you had a great friendship, you were doing a lot, and suddenly all contact kind of slowly disappears, and unfortunately, just from personal experience, this happens after high school. You think you'll have friends for the rest of my life with some of these people, but that just doesn't happen. It's not always the case. There are a lot of friends that I've been in touch with since high school, but overall what you're experiencing is more common than you think. If you want to try to rekindle the friendship, I would just go ahead and apologize to her. Just be completely honest about what's going on. She that you will put in more effort, and then put in the effort required to maintain this relationship, and that will definitely take some work. I mean, your friend is definitely right. You live in a separate state after all, and if you want to succeed in this friendship it will definitely require a lot of hard work. I'm the idiot for choosing my wife over my brother's marriage at the last possible second. Here's what happened. So, for a little context, I'm 36 years old and married to my beautiful wife of 28 years. We've been together for 8 years and married for 3. I also have a younger brother who is about 25 years old, and my parents are 55 years old. Recently my brother is getting married on Friday. I was supposed to be the best man at his wedding, but I didn't go and I stayed at home with my wife. Now here is a context of why I made this decision. During wedding planning, my precious wife found out she was pregnant with our first child. Of course we were over the moon, but we kept it a secret so as not to draw the attention of my brother and his wife. Well, a few weeks ago our precious little girl was born, and although she is a little doll, we suspect she has colic and is crying nonstop. I was still going to the wedding, but when the day came my wife was very stressed and couldn't make our little girl sleep or do anything really. She wouldn't sleep, eat, or stop crying and kept going until her face turned red. My wife was exhausted, I could tell, so I decided to stay and try to take care of my daughter while trying to let my wife sleep. I called my brother to leave him, knowing that I just couldn't make it, and he went crazy on me. He was yelling and screaming, calling me every name under the sun. So when he started doing that I just decided to hang up. Not even a few minutes after that, my parents were blowing up my phone, calling me an idiot for giving up on the marriage. When I tried to explain why, my mother told me who cares, it's the wife's job to take care of the child, not the men, which is not true. By the way, after I still haven't moved, my parents told my family, prompting some family members to blow up my phone some more. When my wife discovered, she was apologizing repeatedly, but I don't think my wife should feel bad about needing a break. I have since blocked the family members who were berating me and have had little contact with my brother and parents until things calmed down, so honestly I'm the idiot in this situation. What should I do? Okay, this is a really incomplete situation because I can see both sides of this. For starters, I completely understand where you're coming from. Your wife just had a baby and the baby is not well, they're crying, they're not going to sleep. They're not going to eat anything. There's a lot of things that you're trying to deal with and your wife is exhausted, so I understand your desire to say, okay, I need to take a step back and try to help my wife in some way, but on the other side of this I find the way how you did that was really unnecessary. I can understand where your brother is coming from and why he would be so mad that you backed out at the last second on your wedding day. I mean, that's more than rude, it's really so confusing and it would really make me really mad if that happened to me. You should be the best man at this wedding. You can't just give up like that and not expect some kind of reaction now. That's not to say I don't understand where you're coming from. I mean, you wanted to support your wife and your baby, but seriously, you left your brother hanging. That's not really okay right now. Don't get me wrong, your mother's comment is absolutely crazy. She was like, wow, the wife should take care of the child. Like, it's such a horrible way to think about raising kids. It's not even funny, but regardless of what she said or anything, I really think it was a terrible idea to abandon your brother at the last possible second. Like, there was no way in preparation for this. You couldn't have said something in advance to try to set something up. It really seems like you waited until the last second and apologized. I'm not going to show up. Like, what are you doing? You promised you'd be there. That's not it. It's a casual meeting. Your brother is getting married. And you are one of the groomsmen at the wedding. Honestly, I think, all things considered, I think the fact that you backed out of the wedding at the last second without even trying to find a babysitter while your wife slept a little, which in my opinion was incredibly unnecessary, and it really makes you an idiot. You could have called a babysitter, you could have called someone to take care of your child so that your wife can sleep and you can still keep your commitments, because guess what, at the end of the day you were committed to your brother's wedding, and not showing up the way you did honestly was a horrible thing to do. My boyfriend and his whole family thinks I'm ugly, and even though I really like my boyfriend, now I'm lost and seriously, I don't know what to do. Here's what happened. First, I want to say I was hesitant to share this, but I just need to get this off my chest. I'm a 28-year-old woman and I've started a new relationship with my boyfriend. He's incredibly handsome and a truly wonderful person. Things are going well when we introduced each other families. That is until an incident that happened yesterday. I was at home working on a project while he visited his grandparents nearby. When he got back, he shared what he thought was a funny conversation with them, but it turns out his aunt saw us while we were in the supermarket shopping. Now, I had never met this woman and my boyfriend didn't notice her, but she described me as a girl who looked nice but was very ugly. Her grandparents, who I also never met, suggested that she could have been shocked to see him, a handsome guy, with someone like me. He told me this story while laughing, which hurt a lot, and when I asked him how he responded, he simply said, well, I told them that you were very cool with me, actually. It kind of destroyed my esteem. To be honest, I've been working on my self-confidence and therapy for months, trying to love and accept myself, and now I feel like all that progress was for nothing. I am devastated thinking that my boyfriend, who I thought found me attractive and desirable, somehow I agree with their sentiment. I feel unwanted and absolutely terrible. I realize I'm lucky to be with him, as he's a 9 and I often feel like a 3 on my best days, but I always hope he finds me desirable. Regardless, I don't want to create unnecessary conflict due to my insecurities, so I'm just sharing my feelings here because at this point I really don't know what to do. This feels really horrible. Like, I can't imagine being with someone and considering them my partners in life, and then they turn around and agree with their extended family that no, you're not good looking. Like, this guy didn't even try to defend him, he just said you're nice to him. And something like that, those lines, like, what's going on in the world right now? He still loves you first and foremost, because what you described doesn't really sound like love. And you know what, I don't think this guy is 9. He might be a good-looking guy or something, but it's clear that his personality and his soul are absolutely equal. This guy didn't defend you. He didn't come to your defense or honor your name in any way. Of course, he let your aunt and your family basically destroy you. He let them call you ugly and then laughed. My entitled sister-in-law constantly makes me babysit her son whenever I have some kind of meeting with my family, and now as a result I feel totally left out, completely cut off from the rest of my family and left alone with a child that isn't even mine, and I'm so frustrated with this that now I don't know what to do. Here's what happened. So first of all, I just wanted to get it off my chest. I was with my husband, who I will call John for the sake of the story. Over 4 years and we've been dating long distance the whole time. Well, we finally ended it last month when I moved in with him and his parents. His parents are amazing and I love them. John has an older sister I'll call Emily. Emily has a husband I'll call Joe, and they have 2 children, a boy I'll call Leo and a girl I'll call Amy. I have only met Emily and Joe a few times, although I have visited them at least once in the past each visit, and now that I have been living here for the last month in each case, Amy and Leo are always there because they are so young. Leo is getting closer to 3 years old and I love him so much. He is sweet and imaginative. I really love playing with him and making him laugh, but with all that being said, there were some problems that I knew when I honestly completely understand where you're coming from, and I just don't blame you for feeling left out when it comes to Leo. In my opinion, I would say hello to the child. I would give him a big hug and then I would join the adults and spend time with them. Listen, you are not that child's babysitter. You don't need to be dragged to play for hours on end just so mom and dad can do whatever they want, and it's all at your expense, just like they're literally treating you like some sort of babysitter or some kind of babysitter when you definitely didn't sign up last time I checked. So I think it's time to start asserting yourself, and it doesn't have to be no kind of slight against you or anyone else in the family. You can literally just say no, I don't want to play right now, and then bring that child back to mom, and guess what, if she wants to, if you don't like that, then she can get up and take care of the child, because guess what, it's her child, not yours. At the end of the day, you are an adult. You have every right to sit with the adults and not let this kid drag you away from them, and your sister-in-law will also have no power over you. In fact, it doesn't matter that she is 10 years older than you. You are an adult in this situation and you have no obligation to take care of Leo. When you sign up, make sure to press the bell to activate notifications to finish listening to all the stories. Check out the playlist at the top of the description. Everything will be linked below in the description. Until next time.